Hi friends, welcome to IISN YouTube channel. Now we are going to see the topics on classes and object in Java. Okay. First we are going to see what is class and object. Okay, so class is a collections of variables and method. Okay, so variable which is used to store the values. Okay, so then method which is going to perform some manipulations on variables. Okay, so first we must understand what is class. Okay, so before that we are going to get it in details. Okay, so here you see every applications you are having three layers: graphical user interface layer, logical layer and database layer. Okay, so these are the three layers. Okay, so in graphical user interface the language which we are using is HTML, CSS and JavaScript and jQuery and Bootstrap. These are the basic graphical user interface languages we are going to use it to develop a graphical user interface. Okay, so graphical user interface means is what you are seeing on your web program. Okay, so website application. Okay, so here you see it is a graphical user interface. It is used to collect the user interface. Okay, so if the user coming to know that they have to give this all the details to perform the registration operation. Okay, to develop a graphical user interface we must know. So these are the basic language. Apart from this you must know some graphical user interface advanced tool like JavaScript framework, Angular and React. Okay, so then apart from this we are having another layer which is called logical. Okay, so we are having Java, .NET, Python and PHP to develop an logical application. Okay, so Python and PHP. These are the languages we are going to use it to develop a logical application. We can choose any one of this. So based on the client requirement. Okay, so then we are having the database. Okay, so database we are having MySQL, and Oracle and MySQL, Oracle and Microsoft SQL. Okay, so these are the languages we are used to use for the database based operation. Okay, so here you see we are going in this we are going to see Java. In Java especially we are going to see the topics on class and object. Okay, so what is a class, what is object? Okay, first we are going to understand this one. Okay, so here you see class is a collections of variables and method. Okay, so why it is called as a collections of variable and method means, okay, so here you see in the graphical user interface, this is the Amazon page. It will be having the registration page, login page and search product page. These are the different pages we are having in the graphical user interface part. Okay, so as well as we are having the same type of concept which is going to be written on Java. Suppose if I are having the registration page on the graphical user interface, okay, so then we are having the relevant page which is present on the Java. Okay, so the name is not going to be same, we can give any name. Okay, so we are, if you are having the login on graphical user interface, okay, so in logical we are having the login.java program which is used to perform login based task. Okay, so if you are having the search product page, we can have the search product. Okay, so search product.java file which is present on a logical part. Okay, so here you see each classes, this is the registration is one classes and login is one classes and search product is one classes. Okay, so each class is having the relevant task. Okay, so the registration class is going to perform the registration based task, login.java is going to perform login based task and search product.java is going to perform the search product based task. Okay, so here is in this registration page. Okay, so in this registration page you are going to give some values and click the continue button. Okay, so what it will be going to happen, okay, the graphical user interface take all the input and give it to the logical. Okay, so in this logical we are using Java, right? Okay, so in this Java, okay, so we are having the registration task we are performing, right? Okay, so here you see we perform the registration task. So it will be give the input to the registration.java file. Okay, so this registration classes will hold variables to hold the user given input. Okay, so user is given some values, right? The username, first name, mobile number, password, the password again, all the information should be collected by the variable. Okay, so then we are having the method. Okay, so this method what it is going to do, it will be just going to collected input from this variable is going to be given to this method it going to perform the operation, that is store the informations on the database. Okay, so this is the flow. Okay, so graphical user interface, you are just going to give the input, that input will be transformed to the logical. Okay, so in logical we having the registration.java classes which is having the variables and method. Okay, so it is just going to, variable is used to hold the user given input, method is just going to perform the operations. It may be network call, it may be store the informations on the database or anything. Okay, it will be going to store those informations on the database. After particular successfully inserted, okay, so it will be given the information to the logical, the data is inserted successfully, then we are going to get the informations on the graphical user interface that your data is inserted successfully, registration done successfully. Okay, so this is the flow it is going to happen. Okay, so graphical user interface logical, logical to my database we can use anyone, MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL. Okay, so then after registration it will be going to give it the information to the logical, then logical will be given the information to the graphical user interface. So it is for the registration.java as well as in the login page. Okay, so we are having the Amazon, we are having the login pages. Okay, so what the login pages, it is just going to same as, it will be going to collect the input from the user. Okay, so on the graphical user interface and will be going to give it to the logical. In the logical we are using Java. Okay, so in this Java, which program will be, which classes is going to perform the login based task, login.java. Okay, so it is same as it will be having the variables and method. Okay, so variable is used to collect the input from the user and method is going to check whether the user is already exist on the database or not. Okay, so that information will be given to the logical and logical will be going to check this data is present on the MySQL or not. If it is already present, okay, so it will be asked us to navigate to the next pages. So if the data is already exist or if the already not exist, okay, so if the data is already not exist means it will be throwing the out screen that invalid credential. Okay, so or invalid username and password will be going to throw this information, and this is the information, this is the flow, right? Okay, so each classes is going to perform its relevant operation. Registration.class Java classes, it will be going to perform registration based task. Login.java is going to perform login based task. Search product .java is going to perform search product relevant task. Okay, so these are the classes. Okay, so what is the classes? Class is a collections of variables and methods. The variable is used to hold the values and method which is used to perform some manipulation operations on the variables. Okay, the manipulation operation may be inserting the data into the database or performing the networking call. Okay, so each class is going to perform the relevant task. Registration class is going to perform the registration based task. Login class is going to perform login based task. Okay, so here you see we are going to see the syntax of how to declare a variable in Java. Okay, the syntax for declaring and defining the variable is here you see the data type space variable name. Okay, so data type means, okay, so in the registration form, okay, so here you see we are giving the name. Okay, so in the we are giving the name. Okay, so then we are giving the mobile number, then we are having the given the password, okay, or email address. Okay, so data type is going to hold the information. Okay, so what type of data this variable is going to hold. Okay, so if you are going to declare the variable as an integer, it is going to store 0 to 9 only. Okay, so if you want to store name or email address or mobile number, email address or some other information, password, you can use string based one. Okay, so if you want store mobile number, you can use a long data type. Okay, so we are going to see in details about what are the different data types available in Java in upcoming slides. Okay, so here you see in the next one we are going to see methods. As of now we finished variables, right? Okay, so now we are going to see the declarations and definition part of the method, how the method is going to be declared, how the method is going to be defined. Here you see the declaration part of the method is going to be, first one is going to be access specifier and that should be followed by data type and that should be followed by method name. Okay, so access specifier is going to give the access specifier. There is 4 different types of access specifier which is present on Java. One is going to be public, another one is going to be private. Okay, so another one is going to be a protected and default. Okay, so if you are not given any access specifier, it will be going to consider as a default access specifier. Okay, then that should be followed by data type. Okay, so data type is going to be the data type, it may be integer, string or long or float, anything. Okay, so based on what the method is going to return. Here you see we are having the method name. Okay, so this method name is going to be user defined. Okay, so you can give any number, any name. Okay, so this is the declaration part. Okay, so then what is the definition part? We are going to give a body to this particular method. What type of task this method has to perform, we are going to give it on the inside of the method body. Okay, so here you see in this open flower bracket and closing flower bracket, inside we are going to write all this statement. Okay, so what is the definitions for this method definitions? Okay, syntax for the method definition. First one, we have to give the access specifier, and then that should be followed by data type, and that should be followed by method name. Okay, so data type is going to be return type. What type of return type the method has to return? Okay, so whether it is a integer, string, or anything. Okay, so this is a syntax part. As of now, we clear what is, we saw what is classes and what is the syntax of the variables and what is the syntax of methods. Okay, so now we are going to see the what is the syntax of the classes. Okay, so the syntax of the classes, first we have to give the access specifier, and that should be followed by the class is a keyword. Okay, so and that should be followed by the class name. Okay, so access specifier, class name. Okay, so inside this class name we are going to give the variable declaration definition part and method body. Okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, so access specifier may be a public, private, protector, or default. Okay, so class is a keyword, class name you can give any name. Okay, so if it is going to perform registration based task, you can give the registration data or anything. Okay, so if you are going to check the input or login pages, you can give the class name as login. Okay, so as it so you can give any name. Okay, so it is a user defined one. Class name may be a, this one is going to be user defined one. Okay, as of now we saw variables, method, and class syntax, and what is classes as of now, right? Okay, so now we are going to see what is object. Okay, so object is nothing but it is a collections of, or it is a copy of classes. Okay, it is a copy of classes. Okay, the copy of classes means the object is going to hold whatever the things which the class is available, just it will be going to hold the copy of it. Okay, okay, so each object is going to hold its a unique ID. Okay, so this this is for the internal purpose, internally used by the JVM to identify each objects. Okay, so now you see we are going to see that syntax for creating an object. That is a two way to creating a syntax of the object. Okay, so first one is a class name. First one is going to be class name, object name equal to new class name. Okay, so class name is, so what you are given on the class name, for which class you want to create an object, that class name you have to give it over here. Class name, object name equal to new class name. Okay, so then that should be followed by another syntax. Okay, so you can use any one of this, whether you can use one or you can use second one. Okay, so the second one is for declaring an object. Okay, so first we are going to declaring the object, then we are going to initializing the object. Okay, so first for that we have to declaring the object, we have to use class name or space object name. For initiating the object, we have to use object name equal to new class name. Okay, object name equal to new class name. Okay, so this is the syntax for creating an object. Okay, so that is a two way, right? Okay, so we are going to see the another one. Okay, so as of now we finished how to declare and define an object. Okay, so initiating the object. Okay, now we are going to see how to access the method which is present inside the classes. Okay, so we must use the dot access specifier to access the methods and variable which is present on the classes. Now we are going to see the syntax of how to accessing the method which is present inside the classes. Okay, the syntax for creating accessing the method. Okay, so that is object name dot method name, object name dot method name, which is used to create or which is used to access the method. Okay, so here you see object name dot method name. Okay, so now you see how to access an variable by using the object name, that is object name dot method name, object name dot method name, which is used to access the particular variable which is present inside the particular classes. We can access it by using object name, that is object name dot variable name. If you want to assign the values to the variable, okay, so you can assign inside the classes, otherwise you can assign the values in the main method. Okay, so that is object name dot variable name equal to values. Okay, so this is the syntax of how to access the methods and variables of the particular classes. Okay, now the theoretical part, hope you understand. Okay, so now we are going to move to the implementation part of this program. Okay, so for that I am going to use the Eclipse. Okay, so in this Eclipse, okay, so before you are going to install before you are going to opening the Eclipse, okay, you must install Java. Okay, so I am going to create a new Java projects. Okay, I am going to give Java program IISN. Okay, I am not going to create a module. Okay, just click don't create. Okay, so now you see in the src folder, right click this folder and it will be choose class name. Okay, so you can give the class name. Okay, so it is your choice. Okay, so I am going to give registration. Okay, so class name is registration. Okay. Okay, so here you see the class is created. Okay, so here you see the class name and main method class name should be the file name and main method class name should be same. Here you see we are having the main method over here. Okay, so this class name, okay, so and the main file name should be same. Okay, so here you see and I am going to create simple variable. Okay, so here you see this is a general syntax. Why we need the main method? We need to execute the program, right? Okay, so for that we need the main method. This is the standard syntax of creating the main method: public static void main. Okay, so in this parenthesis string and edges we have to give it like this. Okay, so now you see we have to declare an variable. What is the syntax of declaring the variable? Int data type variable name, right? Okay, so int is a data type. Okay, so that should be followed by variable name. Okay, so I am going to give the variable name as register number. Okay, so then I am going to assign some values for it. Okay, so I am going to assign 666. Okay, here you see we declare an variable and we are going to assign the values to it. Okay, so it's over. Now we are going to create a method. Okay, so now we are going to define a method. Okay, so void get data. Okay, so void get data. Void is nothing but it is don't need to return any values. If you are giving void means it is doesn't going to return any values. Okay, so what we are going to return? Okay, so what the task we are going to return inside the get data? We are just going to print the values which is present on the registration number. For that I am going to use sysout. Okay, so system.out.println. If you are using Eclipse, type sysout and press control space, it will be automatically come system.out.println. This statement is used to just print the values, okay, or just print some information. Okay, so to the user screen. Okay, I am going to print the information, that is register number is. Okay, so now you see I am going to give something on the double quotes, right? Okay, so what it is going to do, it will be just going to print the values. Okay, so it is just going to print the values or print the text whatever it will be given on inside the double quotes. Okay, so then that should be followed by registration number variable. Okay, so double quotes is just going to print as it is, and that should be followed by variable name. Okay, so and that should be followed by variable name. It will be going to check the values which is present inside the variable name. Okay, so if you are going to give something on the double quotes, it is just going to print as it is. Okay, so then if you want to print something other than this text, okay, so you want to print the variable, you have to use concatenation symbol, that is plus symbol, and that should be followed by the variable name. Okay, so it's just going to check the values which is present on the variable. Okay, so now you see the task which is written inside the get data is over. The get data is used to print the variable values. Okay, so now you see we need to access this method. Okay, so what is the syntax of creating the object? Before we are going to access the method, we have to create an object, right? Okay, so what is the syntax? Class name. Okay, so then that should be followed by object name. Okay, so new, then class name. Okay, so registration, this is the syntax, right? Okay, so class name. Okay, so space object name equal to new class name. You can give any name. Okay, so you can give E or RE or REG. Okay, so Regi. Okay, so you can give any name. Okay, so now you see I am going to access this method. Okay, so by using the object name, that is Regi dot get data. Okay, so what is the syntax of accessing the method? Object name dot method name. Okay, so got it. Okay, so here you see we created one classes. Inside this classes we created one variable. Variable is used to hold the user input values. Okay, user given values. Okay, so then we are using the get data method is just going to print the values. Okay, then we are having the public static void method. Why we need this method? We have to execute this program. Okay, so we are using registration. So we are going to create an object inside the main method. Okay, so registration regi equal to new registration. Okay, so regi is the object, regi dot get data, it will be going to access the get data method, and the whatever the program, whatever the task we return inside the get data method, just going to print as it is. Okay, now I am going to run this program. Okay, you can find the console window on here on your right hand side. If you not find, you can go to this windows and find the console inside the show view. Okay, so just click this, you can find this output. Okay, so what is the output for this particular program? You can get it over here. Okay, so here you see we are getting, this is the console input. Okay, so this is a registration number is. Okay, so it will be going to call the get data method. It will be print as it is, whatever the things which is present inside the double quotes, it will be going to be print as it is, and will be going to find out the values which is present inside the variables. Got it? Okay, so the registration class is over. Okay, so now here you see we created the variable and we are assigned the values on here itself. Suppose you want to get the values from the user, okay, so we are going to use a scanner class for it. Okay, the scanner class is a inbuilt classes which is used to get the input from the user. Okay, so I am going to create a classes register user in, okay, input. Okay, so this classes, okay, in this classes I am going to get the values from the user. Just I am going to declare two variables. Okay, so one is going to be a registration number, another one is going to be a string name. Okay, so you want to store the values variables which is going to hold alphabetical orders or collections of variables and string. You can variables and numbers, alphabetical order numbers, you can use string data type. If you want to store only the integers, that is 0 to 9, you can use int. Okay, so string is a combination of both alphabetical as well as the numbers, or you can store only the alphabeticals. Okay, so here you see we declare two variables, one is registration number, another one is name. Okay, so now you see we need to get the input from the user. For that we are having the input classes, inbuilt classes, which is called scanner. Okay, so s equal to new scanner. Okay, so inside this I am going to type system dot in. Okay, so then I am going to import these packages. This scanner class is present inside the java.util packages. I am just going to import it. Okay, so import it. Okay, so then after I am going to write a method void get data method. Okay, void get data. Okay, so I am going to write the task which I am going to write inside the get data is I am going to write it just going to get the input from the input for the two variables. Okay, so I am going to write this out. Okay, so enter the register number. Okay, so then here you see I am going to have the variable which is called register number. Okay, so after the seeing the statement, user is going to give some values, right? Okay, so enter the registration number. Okay, so for that we are having the variable registration number to hold the values, so that I am going to give the registration number, and that should be followed by scanner object is yes dot, so next int. Okay, so next is the method which is present inside the scanner classes to read the input values. Okay, so now you see I am going to having another variable which is called name. Okay, so I am going to get the input for the name too. Inside the system dot out dot println I am going to print the information, enter the name. Okay, so after seeing this statement, user is going to give the name. I am having the variable which is called name. Okay, so then we are having s dot next method. Okay, s dot next method. Okay, so which is used to get the user input as a string. Okay, so here you see in this string is a, the next is going to return the values on the string. Okay, so we are using name variable, okay, on here, so that we are name is a string variable. Okay, so that we have using s dot next. S dot next is a method which is used to read the string type of variables. Okay, so here you see it will be reading string type of values. Okay, now you see we return the method. Okay, so this method is just going to get the input from the user. Okay, then we have to print those information. Why? Print data. Okay, so void print data. Inside this print data we are going to print those information, that is registration number and name as well as. Okay, sys out. Okay, so I am going to give the information in the double quotes. Okay, so we need to print the variables values present on the registration number. Okay, so I am going to use registration number is plus registration number. Okay, so the variable. Okay, so which variable is holding the values, that variable name we have to give it over here. Okay, so then that should be followed by sys out. Okay, so then we are having the name. Okay, so then we are having the name is, okay, so plus, okay, so name. Got it? Okay, so the things which is given, the text which is given on the double quote, it is going to be print as it is, and that should be followed by the variable name, which is holding the values. Okay, so we have to give it thus one. Okay, so for name also we have to give it on the double quotes. Okay, it is going to be print as it is, and the name is going to be value variable which is going to check the values which is present on the name variable. Okay, so now you see we are going to use the main method. Okay, so inside this main method I am going to create an object of this particular classes, registration user input or register user input. Okay, so I am going to use register. Okay, so object name equal to new class name. Okay, so semicolon. By using the object we are going to access the method, right? Okay, so register dot get data, register dot get data, and register dot, we have to give the correct order. Okay, so first we are going to get the input, then we are going to print it, right? Okay, so that register dot print data. Okay, so we have to give it the order, the correct order. Okay, so now you see we are going to run this program, right click, run as Java application. Okay, so here you see it is asking the registration number. I am going to give some values. Okay, so on the name I am going to give Vinod Kumar. Yes. Okay, so here you see it is just going to print those both the values. Okay, so got it. Okay, so system dot out dot println, it will be going to be print both the values. Let's see the execution flow of this program. Okay, so now you see we are going to see the execution flow of this program. The execution is going to start from the main method. Okay, so we are going to create an object from the classes register user input. Okay, so the object is register, right? Okay, so I am going to create a register object. The object is going to hold the copy of this classes, right? Okay, the classes variable is register number and name. Okay, so what is the variable name? Here having register number name, it is going to be a property of the particular classes. Okay, so it is a variable which is present on the particular classes register number. Okay, so then that should be followed by we are having the name. Okay, so then we are having name. Okay, so we are having both the variables. Okay, so then here you see I am going to access register dot get data. Okay, so get data method is going to be get call. Okay, so when it will be going, the control is came to here. Okay, so it will be going to find out where the get data is here. Okay, so it is just going to call the get data method, and what the statement we are given inside this get data, enter the registration number. This is going to be printed on the output screen, and then that should be followed by register number equal to s dot next int. Okay, so after seeing the statement, user is going to give the values, right? That value will be going to store it on which variable? Register number. Okay, so we given 666666. Okay, so 5 sixes. Okay, so then after we are going to print enter the name. Okay, so it will be going to print the statement on the output screen, and that should be followed by name equal to s dot next. Okay, so it is just going to be given what the values be given Vinod Kumar, right? Okay, so that value will be assigned to the name variable. Okay, so it is going to be assigned to this variable name Vinod Kumar. Yes. Okay, so then afterwards, after it is finding the closing bracket, the control will be back to here. Okay, so here you see we are having register dot print data. It will be going to call the print data method. In this inside this print data method, what we returning, that in this double quotes we given register number is. Okay, it will be print as it is, register number is. Okay, so then it will be going to find out the variable values which is present in the registration number. Okay, so what the values which is present on the register number, it is 66666. Okay, so it will be going to be print as it is. Okay, so after printing this, it will be going to be having another system dot out dot println. So we are using the name is. Okay, so we are having the it will be going to be print as it, and it will be going to check the values which is present in the name variable. Okay, so what the values which is present on the name variable, it is Vinod, right? Okay, so it will be print as it is. Okay, so this is the after finding the close bracket, it will be the control will be back to here. Here you see it is no, there is no any other statement is exists, so the control will be, the program will be terminated. Okay, so got it. Have you all understand this concept, students? Friends, okay, so if you're having any doubts, okay, so you can text me or you can send me on the mail queries to the mail ID which is given on the description link. Okay, so if you like this video, so please share this video with your friends. Okay, so please click the like button and share this video with your friends. Okay, thank you.